Listen, the Bills are flawed, but they have won 12 straight home games in December and January. And Josh Allen has a career-high completion percentage and yards per attempt this season. I still think they're asking too much of them, which is why they've had 12 giveaways in 5 games. They're not a clean team. They can get sloppy. They're bad against the run, although they've been a little better in the last couple of weeks. I think the reality is they'll go as far as Josh Allen can take them. I don't trust them situationally. They were fumbling near the goal line this week. I think right now the best quarterback in the world, not the most decorated, but the best, is Josh Allen. But there's too many questions for me. They sneak in at number 10.
Number 9.
The Chargers are now 5-0 in prime time this season. They're a big stage team, at least in the regular season. 13-4 under Jim Harbaugh in the second half of seasons. That's best in the NFL. Remarkable with all their injuries. The offensive line's atrocious, all beat up. The running game depends on who's healthy. But they have a great pass defense, best in the league since week 8. Between the head coach and the star coordinator in Herbert, they're in every single game. I have the Chargers at 9.
Number 8.
I can't even figure the Niners out. How in the world do they have the number 1 scoring defense since week 11? Robert Saleh, I don't like their defensive personnel. I'm mid on Brock Purdy, but they've got 5 wins of 10-plus or more points since week 7. That's tied for the NFL lead. They don't get penalized. They've got 2 easy games coming up. Just had the bye. San Francisco, yes, they're too Christian McCaffrey dependent, but Kittle and Jennings and Pearsall, they're getting healthier. I'll put them at 8.
Number 7.
Texans have the best defense in the league, 5-game winning streak, 8 of 10. Their offense can worry me. I do like C.J. Stroud. They have played the 4th hardest schedule in the league, so they are battle-tested, number 1 scoring defense. I'll tell you, there's a couple of young defensive coaches in this league that are really sharp. DeMeco Ryans, and I told you, I had somebody inside the Niners tell me years ago, DeMeco Ryans was going to be a star as head coach. That Houston defense is no fun to play. I've got him at 7.
Number 6.
I'm going to give it to the Bears. They lead the NFL in turnover differential. They run the football. They can win time of possession. People bang on Caleb Williams completing 58% of his throws. But he is so electric and dynamic, I can live with that. I think their biggest issue, they give up 6.1 yards a play. That's near the bottom of the NFL. That's what worries me. It's not Caleb's lack of accuracy. I think you got to live with that because he's so dynamic. They've got to shore up their defense on the average play.
Number 5.
Seattle. Maybe I have them low, but there's a slew of teams above them, and there's reasons why. They can be reckless. They're a run-first team. They're aggressive, sometimes a little, penalties, youth. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team yet. I think like the Packers who are young, it'll take another year. I think Green Bay is ready this year. They weren't last year. They have, tied for the fewest sacks allowed. Some of that's just Darnold's good on his feet, but I have Seattle at 5.
Number 4.
But I think the Broncos roster's a little more experienced, and I get offensive coach Sean Payton. First game, though, this year, they have not trailed. Listen, here's what's really impressive. Tied for the most sacks, and then the fewest allowed. You can't get to their quarterback. They always get to yours. That's going to serve them well in the playoffs. Offensive line, Sean Payton's got it number 1 after a couple years. I love their roster. I really like their roster. I wish their quarterback wasn't this uneven, but I have them a nick ahead of Seattle.
Number 3.
Green Bay. I may have them low. Best third down offense. Tied for the fewest giveaways. They're a very smart, clean, young team. I thought last year they were a bit too young. I love that Christian Watson is healthy because Jordan Love, like a Sam Darnold, loves to throw the deep ball and throws a brilliant deep ball. I also think the Micah trade was brilliant. Not always bad for Dallas, but it was brilliant because they're going to lead a lot of games late, and he's the closer. I have Green Bay at 3.
Number 2.
Patriots were idle. I have them at 2. 10-0 when Christian Gonzalez plays their elite corner. 10-game winning streak. Are they a bit young? Is Drake May ready? Listen, they have played the easiest schedule in the NFL. That needs to be noted. Houston could be better. Houston's played the 4th hardest schedule. So I think they're a little harder to judge team. We know the coach is good and the quarterback is good, but I have them at 2.
Number 1.
The Rams. Boy, was Devontae Adams a steal. Leads the NFL with 14 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, by the way, averaging the most receiving yards per game in NFL history, 91. Tight ends, quarterback, head coach, running back, O-line. They have no weakness offensively other than Stafford's immobility. The defense is young and outstanding. This feels like the most complete team in the league.
Yeah, let's talk about this list. I find some of this pretty wild. Okay, let's start with the Chargers, a team that I praise a lot and believe in. Colin thinks the Philadelphia Eagles are an absolute mess. The Chargers were unranked going into here. And Colin thinks that the Eagles are an absolute mess. The coaching is awful. Jalen Hurts isn't a great quarterback. He turned the ball over a million times, and it still went down to overtime, and the Eagles were in a position to go win that game. You can make the argument that if they called better plays at that time of that game, they could have just handed the ball. They could have done anything but what they did. They win the game, and then the Chargers lose. And now, would Colin say that they're a top 10 team? It's like, my guess would be probably not. Probably not. And so you can't just look at things through that narrow of a lens from my viewpoint. The Buffalo Bills, like, if you believe the Buffalo Bills, for instance, are a playoff team, and the 49ers are a playoff team, and the Texans are a playoff team, and I don't even now mean from like a standing standpoint, just like a playoff caliber team. We're now in playoff mode. And so now it really is, as someone who constantly kicked this can down the road, we are officially here now where it's like I am looking at things through a playoff lens right now. That is how I'm viewing things. That is the lens of how I am looking at this. And I see the Buffalo Bills and I'm like, the way how the Chargers are right now, Justin Herbert, broken hand, and obviously in the playoffs it should be a lot better, but that O-line is an absolute mess. I mean, think about what Justin Herbert had to do just to barely win in overtime. And it's just, who am I going to trust more? If the Bills and the Chargers played each other, I just have more confidence in what Josh Allen will be able to do in that moment and what he has to work with. And the pass rush now from the Buffalo Bills and what they would be able to do against the Chargers. And even the Texans now, this Texans team is 100% defense. Now, maybe CJ Stroud can get settled. CJ Stroud played good. I was really impressed with his performance because of the stakes and what, playing against Kansas City and whatnot. But like, it's not like I'm seeing the CJ that I had, hoped I would see, right? The version of CJ that I was like, this guy is going to be a perennial MVP candidate. Put him in, the floor for him is the AFC Championship game, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, I haven't seen that offense. And so this is all defense. And so, yeah, when you're talking about the playoffs, it's like, is there a play for Josh Allen to make? And I know the Texans obviously beat the Bills. Like, I get that. But I guarantee you a lot of people would say that if the Texans played the Chiefs again, I guarantee you the vast majority of people in the football world, not fans, but in the football world would pick the Chiefs. And I believe that they would also pick the Bills. I bet you Colin would say if the Bills played the Texans, he would pick the Bills. He would say, Josh Allen, yeah, that Texans defense is great, but they'll be able to run the ball more. If Josh Allen takes care of the ball, that defense will disrupt CJ Stroud, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and it's a similar notion with the 49ers, the Bears to an extent. And like, if we look at these top 5 teams right here now, the Rams, the Patriots, the Packers, the Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks, it is really interesting because at one moment Colin was ready to bury the Packers and literally said that Jordan Love is not an elite quarterback. And then they have a couple wins, beat a couple, take care of some easy teams, some uneven teams as well. It'll be interesting to see what they look like as the season unfolds, like a team like the Detroit Lions. You know, had a tough, gritty win against Chicago, no doubt about it. And now he's like back. He's like, it's official. Jordan Love is elite. Stop doubting that. Stop doubting that. And then he's like, people are complaining about Caleb Williams' completion percentage. And it's like, he was one of those people that was talking about how inaccurate Caleb has been. So, you know, it's just tough right now. It really is. It's like the way how this feels so much, since I'm looking at it through such a stark playoff lens, and seeing how these games unfolded this past week, seeing what Josh Allen had to do to win the game, seeing what happened to Jalen Hurts, seeing what happened to Patrick Mahomes, you know, not really needing a big game from Bo, a very easy game, obviously, for Stafford and the Rams, the Patriots not even playing, Caleb Williams making some great plays, but then also missing a lot of plays, Sam Darnold having a rough start to the game, but then obviously able to just, you know, snap the Falcons. Watching CJ Stroud and the Chiefs who are not even in the playoffs, watching that defense just light up the Texans, and yet that Texans offense still struggled. And they were kind of gifted some points from Andy Reid with him going for it. So even the points that they scored was slightly misleading, because if they punt, do you think that they would, if they were at their own 10, would they have been able to march down the field and score a touchdown? Like, I don't know. So, you know, it's just, can your defense get the job done? Can your offense get the job done? What are you betting on? What are you banking on? What are you relying on? This season just feels like, and I've said this a few times so far, it's like, is Steph Curry hot or not? It's the game 7. Is he going 8 for 12 from 3, or is he going 4 for 12 from 3? Those are completely different games entirely. Is he having that stretch where he knocks down 3 straight threes on back-to-back-to-back possessions to now go up by 9, or to now go up by 2 or something? Or does he miss a 3, make a 3, miss a 3, and now it's like they're up, they're down by 3, they're down by 6 or something? Like, it's just completely different, and you just don't know. You just don't know in that moment. And so that is why my mind then is going back to, like, you know, the devil I know. It's like, all right, you're talking about the Texans versus the Bills. Like, who do I have more confidence in? It's like the Bills. The Rams versus the 49ers. It's like the 49ers are so brutal because of all the injuries that they've had. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. If let's say the Rams are the 2 seed, you know, they're definitely in the driver's seat to get the 1 seed, but just let's say they're the 2 seed, so it's the first round. The Rams versus the 49ers. The 49ers are at the 7, or the Bears are the 7 seed. It's like, who am I going to go with? It's like the Rams. The Bears and the 49ers would be a fascinating matchup. You know, the Seahawks. Like, listen, I don't think, and I'm defended Sam every step of the way, but it's like, I got to see Sam against Los Angeles Rams. I'm really excited to see what that looks like. And then, you know, see what answers the Seahawks have for that. You know, the Packers, they definitely feel very much like Steph Curry in that regard, where it's like, are you going 8 for 12 or are you going 3 for 12? Like, where are you at? Jordan Love had a terrible interception, and he made a gorgeous throw that just got to his receiver for a touchdown, and it's like, he slightly misses that throw. It's another interception. Like, it's ever so soft. And some of the big playmaking that Caleb Williams had in that game, that big catch in the end zone, the scramble run and that spectacular throw and spectacular catch, like that play probably has like a 5% chance of being completed. And so that means the vast majority of the time that's not going to be completed. And it just so happens that in that game we saw it be completed. And so in the playoffs, is that one of the balls that oh no, Brady's like, oh no, it looks like it hit the ground. And then so-and-so hops on, yeah, I agree with you, Tom. The nose of the ball clearly hits the ground. He doesn't maintain control of it. That's an incomplete. 4th and 10. Do the Bears go for it here or do they kick a field goal? Right? Like it's just that's not shocking to anyone. And so like I made the joke yesterday or today or whatever the day was where I'm just like, hold your breath the entire time you're watching these games, man. I mean, the Eagles missed 2 or 3 field goals. That was a different. If the Eagles just hit one of those field goals, they win the game. And then the Chargers are in top 10. Like that's what we're talking about here. If Joe Burrow doesn't have back-to-back interceptions, one of them being a pick 6, the Buffalo Bills aren't in the top 10 now. If Bryce Young just played better when Brock Purdy had 3 interceptions in the first half and they were still winning, right? If the Panthers played how they played against the Rams, the 49ers lose that game and then they're probably not in the top 10. Now the Panthers are potentially in the top 10. If they especially beat the 49ers and the Rams, which I think would have been back-to-back weeks, right? You could see the Panthers now there. So everything feels so fragile. So fragile. The Jags are top 3 in the AFC, and yet like seemingly no one really believes them. So I just smile and I just think this is just so wild. I can have some feelings towards one team or the other, like because the way I'm looking at this right now, I just keep looking at random matchups. What about if the Bills and the 49ers play, which obviously would have to be a Super Bowl, just the random matchups. The Bills and Texans play each other, the Bears and the Packers again, the Bears and the Patriots, the Rams and the Bears, the Broncos and the Seahawks, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. How sharp is Bo Nix that game? Josh Allen, is he able to escape away? There's a very fine line between getting sacked and losing 10 yards and ripping off a 30-yard run. Just ask the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Chargers. Just go ask the Cincinnati Bengals the Chargers going up against the Eagles. Go ask the Bengals going up against the Bills. Like, it's just, I don't know. That deep ball, does Bo Nix connect? Does Mims have a huge return? Does Jordan Love give that devastating interception? And does that devastating interception get turned into a pick 6? Or is your defense now given a shot to, force a punt or force a field goal attempt? Like, just crazy. I love it. I love it, but it's just crazy. Crazy. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Colin's herd hierarchy? How are you organizing teams right now? What level of confidence do you have with regards to all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.